So in this video, I'm going to show you step by step how you can build an AI agent inbox manager. So the use case is you're a business owner and you get a lot of emails and you want a way to have AI organize them into specific labels so they can get routed to either the right department or the right person in your company. So this is a very simple beginner AI-friendly automation that anyone can do inside of Gumloop. All right, let me show you a quick demo on how this works, and then we'll build it out step by step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send myself an email from a different one of my emails account about a Facebook ads campaign, and that's the example we're going to run through in this video. Maybe you're an ad agency and you run Facebook ad campaigns. Okay, so what this email is basically a new lead inquiry. You know, I'm reaching out on behalf of XYZ and we're interested in launching a new Facebook ad campaign. We'd love to learn more about your approach, yada, yada, yada. Could you please provide some information on your service, etc. So I'm going to fire this off to myself. And then what hopefully will happen is this is the inbox that it's going to. And the idea is Gumloop using the AI agent is going to automatically label this email as a new lead so I can send this off to my team who handles leads. All right, so you can see the email come in. There it is. And you can see the label applied automatically by the AI. So again, depending on how your team is set up, but you might have labels for new leads that come in. And so you can hand this off to a team member. So here's the email that I just sent to myself, and the AI correctly identified the intent of the email automatically. I barely had to do anything and automatically put this email in our new leads folder. So let me just give you a high level overview of what we're building here with our inbox manager AI agent. So what you will need is just really two things here. So number one, I'm going to be building this inside of Gumloop, which is my favorite no code AI automation builder. It's much more user-friendly than things like Make.com or N8N. I agree those platforms are probably a little bit more powerful and custom, but if you're looking for beginner-friendly, if you're looking for no code, and you're looking for a great UI that's easier to use, then Gumloop is what you're going to want to be going with. And then we also need just a Gmail connection because we're going to be doing this through Gmail, but that's all you're going to need. Now, what you don't need to set this up, you don't need N8N, you don't need a Google Cloud connection. We don't need to be doing request options with our API. There's no JSON that we're playing around with. Okay, all of this is truly no code. And then here's just a preview of the workflow inside of Gumloop. So it's going to trigger off of a new email. So a new email comes into our Gmail request. That is going to go to our AI agent or AI categorizer, who is going to read the email, summarize the email kind of internally, categorize the email, and then apply the labels inside of our Gmail that I have set up. So I'm actually using 3 labels, but you get the point here with the illustration. The AI agent is going to do all of this on its own with a little bit of direction from us. It's going to ingest the email and then apply the label inside of Gmail automatically. All right, so let's build this out in Gumloop step by step. So I'm in my hub, or this is kind of like my home page here. I'm just going to click on New Flow, and we're going to get this beautiful little dashboard here, or canvas rather. And again, the way that we're doing this is it all starts with a new email. Okay, that triggers the workflow. So I'm going to come back into Gumloop and I'm going to click Add My First Node, and I'm going to search for Gmail. And it's going to be a reader node, meaning it's going to be reading our Gmail. Now, before I kind of configure this, let me just say, if this is your first time using Gumloop or your first time using Gmail in Gumloop, you're going to want to go to your profile over here, your personal settings here, and under credentials, you'll need to add your Gmail. The good news is it is about 1,000 times easier than it is in N8N, where you have to set up a Google Cloud account, which is absolutely insane. Gumloop makes this really easy. You just sync up your email, you sign in, it happens in about 30 seconds. But you need to do that first in order to sync your account. And once you do that, you can come in here and you'll see that your labels will show up here. So in this example, we're going to be using billing, client communication, and new leads. But once you're synced up in Gmail, you should see your labels here just by refreshing. All right, so to configure this node, we really only have to do two things, okay? The first is, you can see up here, we want to activate this flow as the trigger. In other words, this is how the automation kicks off. So in order to do that, we just need to toggle this to on. All right, the second thing we need to do is in this email information box. When I click into this, what I want to grab here, and this will make sense later on when we're updating our labels, okay? But when I click into this, you can see all of the kind of fields or properties that Gumloop is grabbing from Gmail. And there's a lot of options here, but the one that I need to add to the email information field here is thread IDs. Okay, so I want to be pulling in the body of the email bodies. And again, I'll show you later on why we're going to need the thread ID. But once you do these two things, and again, make sure you're saving at all times here, you're done with the first step. All right, now we want to add our AI agent, okay? Going back to our workflow here, and this is going to be the workhorse of our flow. So I'm going to go into here and use the, it's already on top. So we want the using AI section. So I'm in my node library, and you can search. And what we want to use here is this agent called the Categorizer, okay? And I'm going to drag this onto my nice looking canvas over here. And I will show you how Gumloop describes the categorizer is that it's going to categorize the data using AI into custom buckets defined with natural language descriptions. Okay. So it's basically going to take the body of the email, which I'll drag this output. Okay. So I'm dragging the output from the email body, and I'm going to drag that right onto the input. So we're moving the email body into this AI agent, and that's the context with which it will be working. All right, now we need to think about our categories, right? How do we want the AI to categorize the email, or what buckets do we want the AI to put the email into? So going back to our example, inside of Gmail, you basically want to think about your labels in terms of the categories. So for the example that I'm going with, we're a Facebook ad agency. So I just made 3 simple labels in my Gmail, right? So billing, so any emails we get about billing, client communications, any emails from existing clients about their work, and then new leads, okay? Any new potential leads that are coming in. Again, just for the purposes of this demo, those are the 3 labels that I'm going with. And so we need to kind of map in our mind those labels to the categories, okay? So coming back over here, the first category that I'm going to add, again, we need to map them mentally to the labels, is billing. Okay. So what's the name of our category? I'm going to call this billing. And this is important. They say it's optional, but this is going to give the AI context of what it's looking for when we mean billing. So I have this on my clipboard, and I'm just going to say invoices, payment requests, receipts, subscription notices, right? Words and phrases that can give context to the AI that, hey, this is an email about billing. And then we want to add the next category or the next label. So in my example, I'm just calling this client communication or client comms, right? So anything that's coming from an existing client. And again, I would definitely fill in your description here. So I'm saying existing client messages, project updates, or client feedback. And then I want to add my last category or my last label, which are new leads. All right. So potential customers here. And so for my description, sales inquiries, new business opportunities, or partnership requests. Now let me zoom out a little bit on my node here. So our AI agent is equipped to understand the buckets of emails that are going to be coming into it. Okay. We've got billing, we've got client communications, and we've got new leads. And then one last thing that I'm going to fill out here. Again, I think providing as much relevant context as possible is going to make your automations and agents work a lot better. So for additional context, what I'm going to say is these categories here pertain to a Facebook ad agency's email inbox. All right, now that our AI agent categorizer is all set up, we just need one more step and we are done. Again, going back to here, Now that our AI agent has all of the context from our email and we've equipped it with, kind of the knowledge on how to categorize it, we just need it to assign the labels to our Gmail account, okay? So we need to come back into the node library. I'm gonna search for Gmail, and what we need now is the updater, okay? It's gonna update our Gmail. So I'm gonna drag the updater onto my canvas here, and let's kind of rearrange this. Now, the first thing that I wanna do is, you can see when I drag this on, I have one input right now, just one, which is the thread ID. What I also want is the label itself, all right? Because we're going to be updating the label. Now, the way that we do this is if you hover over this node and you go to configure inputs, all right, this is going to give you more inputs. So I'm going to toggle on labels. And then when I do that, you can see now I have two inputs. Okay, I've got my thread ID and I got my labels. Now, how do we want to map this, right? If we're thinking through this, well, we want to map the label from the categories. Remember, the categorizer is taking our email and it's going to put that email into one of three buckets which match our labels. So we want the output of the AI node, this selected category, to map to the labels, okay? The labels, meaning my labels inside of Gmail. Now, we need to map one other thing. Now, remember at the top of the video, I said we needed to add that thread ID to the Gmail reader. And this is why, because the Gmail updater needs that thread ID in order to do its job. So I'm going to come back up to the Gmail reader, and you can see I have my thread ID output here. So I'm going to put my mouse in that little circle with the bullseye and just drag that down to the thread ID. So now we've got both inputs populated. And then as for the rest of this node, we're fine here. Okay, labels, we're already inputting this from the selected category from the AI node. And then the update mode, we want to add the label, right? Not remove. So we're going to add the label. So we're looking good here. All right, now we can test this out. So I'm going to send a different email this time. All right, so I've got my Gmail fired up, sending from a different account. And in this one, I'm going to go with the billing label, just as an example, to see if our AI agent can categorize this properly and update our label. Okay, so my dummy email here is, my agency received an email from an accounts payable team about an invoice that was not paid. So hopefully, and if not, we'll troubleshoot, but I'm going to send this off and we're going to give Gmail a minute or two to get to work. But the idea is this email is going to come through. Okay, it's going to be about the invoice and it should give us a billing tag here. All right, so here's the email came through. If I click again, boom, we've got that billing tag automatically. So that worked absolutely beautifully. So invoice payment issue. So here's the email. It came through. Gumloop automatically and very quickly put that in my billing folder here. So again, the idea here is maybe you've got a team handling your emails, or you've got an assistant, and certain emails go to certain people to handle. Well, this workflow is going to automatically put your emails in the right folders with the right labels so you can get them off to the correct teammate right away. So I hope this demo was helpful, showing you how to build a truly no-code agent / automation inside of Gumloop. Let me know in the comments what builds you want to see next. And if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to the channel.